Well, that's why you turn the bike off before you try to do a review. Hey guys, Amanda here with eBike Reviews and Adventures, and today I am doing the full review of the Haoqi Rhino. Now, if you're taking a look at this frame, it's a really sharp looking bike. It does give the appearance of a motorcycle, but it functions just like an e-bike. It just has a aggressive look to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the front here. So right here, we've got these 20x4 knobby tires, which is very useful for just about any terrain. We have aluminum fender right here. We got this fancy looking headlight. These suspension forks, by the way, are motorcycle style suspension forks. And then up on the top here, you have this adjustment for the compression of the forks. Over here, we have our lithium battery, which is 52 volts, 26 amp per hour. And it's kind of nifty. It looks like a gas tank on a motorcycle, which, you know, it adds to the aesthetic. And then also, I'm thinking about it, another important component is the motor. It is a 1,000-watt rear hub motor. So over here we got a convenient little basket. It doesn't hold a lot of stuff in it, but it's still kind of convenient that it sits right under the bike. So if you have something small like a purse, or maybe you need to run to the grocery store and you just have a bag, or you can even stick a water bottle or maybe even a speaker in here as well. So you can't carry a whole lot, but it still has a convenient little basket right there. All right, now for the cockpit of the Haoqi Rhino. We've got these handlebars that are not my favorite. I do prefer the palm rest, but they are not terrible. It's just a personal preference. Here we've got our buttons. This is for the headlight, and this is for the horn. These buttons right here adjust your pedal assist on the display, and then you also have the power button for the display right here. So go ahead and turn that on. And there you have your display, which is, I'm not trying to get my reflection in it, but it's a very decent display. It's nice and big and easy to see all of its functions. And speaking of the functions, there is a button. I'm trying to maneuver this real quick. Hold on. Get a better angle this way, maybe. Yeah, a little bit. So there's a button right here. You can push that and it adjusts the functions on the screen. I apologize that it's kind of hard to see. I can see the mileage for this trip, the max miles per hour, the average miles per hour. Yeah, so that is the little function button for the display. And then this button right here, it just adjusts the lighting on the display, which you cannot see right now because it's a little overcast. You'll just have to take my word for it. I apologize for that. All right, I move on down the handlebars, and you have the Shimano 7-speed button shifter. And then over here, well, that's why you turn the bike off before you try to do a review. All right, I'm gonna try that one again. The bike is now set to 0 as far as the pedal assist goes, so I can show you the throttle. It's just a half twist. I really like the half twist. Again, this adds to the aesthetic of the Haoqi Rhino because it's supposed to be a, you know, motorcycle style electric bike. Now, it's not a motorcycle. It's still an e-bike, so you don't have to get all geared up and wear a motorcycle helmet or anything crazy like that. You can still wear your normal gear when you ride this thing. It's just an aggressive, edgy type style bike that is going to work for some people and it's not going to work for others, and that's okay. One thing that I forgot to mention is it does have a rear tail light as well. And over here we have our derailleur and a derailleur guard. Fancy. Alright, now if you guys have been following this channel for a little bit, you know that I've already made comments about the moped style of seat. It is absolutely not my favorite. It's just a personal preference that I ride with a regular saddle. Mainly just because if I wanted to lend this bike out to a friend who is taller than me, I can't. It doesn't adjust up or down. It's also not the most comfortable seat I have ever had the displeasure of sitting on. Alright guys, so the hard part is over. Now I am going to be taking this bad boy out for a little bit of a ride and talk about some of its features. So I'm gonna kick it up to pedal assist 1. And this is perfect too because I'm out in this grassy field over here. So let's get to it. Alright, so a little bumpy, but I definitely felt like I had full control of the bike. Now, while I'm thinking about it, I should have mentioned, when I'm riding this bike, the most comfortable position for me, myself, and I is I have to scoot my butt as far back on the seat as I possibly can, and then I have to lean forward. So basically, I am taking an aggressive, like, crotch rocket stance in order to ride this bike and be comfortable. But then the only other problem is these pedals, let me adjust that. These pedals are entirely too close. So let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about here. Like there's not a lot of space between the pedal and the seat. So someone that might even just be a couple inches taller than me is almost knocking themselves in the chin when they are trying to pedal. So it's just a very awkward way of riding this bike. So I have to scoot my butt as far back on the saddle as I can go with still being able to reach the handlebars. And then of course I have this gas tank looking battery in front of me as well. So it makes it a little awkward. And then when I try to pedal, I do feel like I'm gonna like knee myself in the face. So I'm mainly gonna be using throttle for this ride just because I do have back issues and I don't want to hurt myself while trying to do this review. So yeah. All right, let's get her done. Alrighty. So I'm actually going to be heading out of the neighborhood because the top speed for this bike is 28. But we can only drive 25 miles per hour in the neighborhood, and I want to be a good civilian and follow the speed limit. But while I'm heading out of the neighborhood, you guys have seen me do this zigzag test I like doing this because it gives me a little bit more of an idea of how the bike handles, the mobility. Like, for example, if I need to make a quick adjustment and get out of the way of someone on the road that's not paying attention, or a squirrel gets out in my path, I don't want to hit that poor squirrel. He's just minding his own business. So being able to maneuver out of the way pretty quickly, that's something that I can greatly appreciate about this bike. And it also takes off pretty quick too, which you guys already know that I like fast bikes. And being able to be an offensive and a defensive driver, even on an e-bike, that is so important, because you can be defensive and paying attention to what other people are doing, but if they're not paying attention to what they're doing, you need to be able to react quickly. And I think that is one of the things that is added into the aesthetic of this bike, because being a motorcycle rider, you have to be offensive and defensive. I used to ride a motorcycle. I'm kind of glad I retired that bike, and I am now riding e-bikes. So, all right, out on the road now. There's no one behind me. I'm gonna adjust a little bit. I'm gonna kick up the pedal assist to 5, and I'm just using throttle because I cannot pedal comfortably. So here we go. So that was all throttle. So I'm gonna try and adjust a little bit and see if I can pedal. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but for you guys, I'll do it. Right, just pull over to the side real quick. Okay guys, so top speed for this bike, whether pedaling or using throttle, the top speed is 28 miles per hour. All right guys, so off camera, I've had to do the ending of this video a couple of times now because I'm standing in the middle of the road to get this awesome side profile of the bike. Yeah, it's honestly a sharp looking bike. It's just not my favorite. My personal preference is something that I can feel comfortable riding and not look goofy. Because this is an e-bike, I shouldn't be riding it like a crotch rocket. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like, and if you're new to our channel, subscribe. We've got all sorts of content for anyone and everybody, whether you're a seasoned rider or you're a beginner. We've got some information for you. So please stick around and ride safe.